What's up, Alphas? For those of you who don't know me already, my name is Starla Moore, and I am an Etsy seller of over 9 years. I am an Etsy coach of over 2 years with 500 successful handmade alphas, as we call them. Not to mention, I'm also a public speaker, and I do quite a bit of traveling in the warmer months when we don't have COVID-19 terrorizing us. So needless to say, I have been around the block when it comes to Etsy for more than a few years. And one of the oldest and most common myths that I've seen floating around is that Etsy games are an acceptable way to get traffic to your shop. What do I mean by Etsy games? Well, basically, an Etsy game is anything where you see someone say, "Oh, let's all play a favorite game. I'll list my shop and then you list your shop underneath me and we'll all post our shops and then we'll all go to each other's shops and like each other's items. Yay!" And a few years ago, when I say a few years ago, I mean a long time ago, like almost, I would say 9 years ago, this did work because Etsy weighed favorites and hearts into their search algorithm. However, it doesn't work anymore. Etsy caught on to people rigging the system. And if you rig the system and play games too much when it comes to an algorithm, what you end up eventually doing is you're basically telling Etsy, "Hey, we're trying to rig your system. It's probably a good time for you to change your system," which is exactly what Etsy did. Etsy caught on to the games. If everybody could just easily go in and favorite all of these items and then favorite all of these items in this shop and then those listings magically floated to the top of a search page, it would be easy for anyone to go in and do what we call farming. In fact, a few years ago, there were actual people that you could hire and companies that you could hire to farm likes for both Etsy and social media. Basically, you would pay a bunch of money to this huge team, usually somewhere in the Philippines or just somewhere overseas, and all these people would get together from these companies and they would go and like all of your items, or you'd get a bunch of unique likes on your Facebook page, and it made it look like you had inflated likes or inflated favorites. Now, this is wrong on both Etsy and on social media platforms like Facebook, but there's two different reasons why. We're going to focus on Etsy first, and then I'll kind of tell you why it doesn't work on social media either. So first, Etsy. Let's assume that everybody is going to your shop and they're favoriting your items, but they're not buying them. If Etsy sees that a bunch of people are clicking your listings and favoriting them, but no one is actually making a purchase, what this is telling Etsy is that people are clicking on this listing, but they don't like it enough to buy it. Etsy wants to recommend products that they know are going to do well. Yes, it is no secret that Etsy makes money off of our sales. So if they're making money off of our sales, would it not make sense for them to promote the products that they know are going to sell well? By running like ladders, what you're basically doing is setting yourself up for failure by telling Etsy, "Here's this really great product that everybody's going to like, but not a single person is buying it." This is why favorites no longer contribute to your search ranking. The things that do contribute to your search ranking are sales of that item. Lots of sales on an item means that Etsy can trust that item. Etsy's more likely to recommend that item, and that item is going to climb higher in search pages. Not only that, but positive reviews of that singular item can also help that item bump up in search pages. It's all about building trust. With Etsy, you're telling them that you've got a great product and a lot of people like it, and not only do they like it, but they like it enough that they're willing to buy it. And Etsy obviously is getting their money as well, because when you make a sale, it's almost like Etsy also makes a sale. And I know a lot of people are going to be upset about that, but I'm just stating the facts. That's how it works. When we make a sale, Etsy makes money. So any of those like games that you see floating around in Etsy teams and Etsy forums and on Facebook pages and Facebook groups, those don't work. They're very harmful. I discourage anyone from using them. Don't try them. Don't test them. I have done this in the past. long ago, before we knew that this was not a valuable method, I was one of those people who was constantly doing different ladders. Thankfully, I didn't do these with my actual Etsy shop, but I did do them to other people's Etsy shops because I thought that I was helping them, when in reality, what I was doing was hurting them. Poor little 19-year-old Starla and her not knowing any different. I'm sure some of you guys are doing a little bit of mental math now, since I told you that I was 19 years old and I started on Etsy 9 years ago. So have fun with that. Have fun with those numbers. Now, let's talk about social media. Why are ladders bad for social media? Well, here's the thing about Facebook. A very small percentage of the people who click like on your actual page are actually going to see the things that you post if you're not paying for promoted posts and boosted posts. Visibility for pages is not very good. In fact, I remember a long time ago, I believe it was in 2013, that's when Facebook started rolling out their ads platform, and that's also when they started limiting reach to pages. Because before that, you saw content from every single page that you'd liked in your timeline. We all did this big, huge, revolt against Facebook, and all of these individual crafters and small businesses changed their Facebook profile photos to blue. We called it Going Blue for Facebook, and we were really trying to get our voice out there and tell Facebook to not limit our reach. And that was in 2013. And nothing came of it, obviously. Nothing happened. No, we didn't get any results from it because Facebook is a business. And now I kind of respect that a little bit more now that I'm a little bit older. And I realize if you want to be successful, obviously you need to do things like build your own funnel and build an email list and build other avenues for your success without 100% relying on just Facebook for your marketing. Because if you just rely on Facebook alone for your marketing, you're not getting maximum exposure. That's why it's also a good idea to have more than one social media platform to post on. You could have a Facebook, but you should probably also try out Instagram or try out Pinterest, just depending on what you make and how your product falls into the target demographic for those actual social media platforms. But back to the point. If we'll say only 15% of people who like your Facebook page actually see your content unless you pay for ads on Facebook, and half of your audience is people who have just liked your page because of a ladder and not because they're interested in your products and not because they're ever going to actually buy from you, what you end up with is posts that are showing to people who don't give a crap about you and who are never going to buy. It would be better to have 500 people who have liked your Facebook page and who absolutely love everything that you do and engage with all of your posts than it would be to have thousands and thousands of Facebook followers who don't care about anything that you do and have no plans of purchasing from you. So guys, overall, games don't work. Games don't work on Facebook, games don't work on Instagram, games don't work on Etsy, and games can actually be really harmful depending on what platform you're using and what games you're trying to play, with ladders being the most common one that I've been seeing ever since I started on Etsy 9 years ago. Please don't use different games to try to rank on Etsy. The things that you need to focus on for ranking on Etsy rather than games are making sure that your SEO is on par, which that is just one piece of the puzzle, obviously. Making sure that you have great customer communication so that when you actually have that opportunity to get a positive review that can help to build the rank of that listing, you have the optimal chance to actually get that 5-star review and leave a good impression, and that also increases the odds that that person might come back to shop from you in the future because you have gained their trust. So we got SEO, we have great customer service so you can get awesome reviews. And then the third major thing to remember is that none of these things will work on their own. You should also throw in a really great marketing strategy on top of that. whether it be Facebook, whether it be creating a Facebook group just for your business, like I have done for my actual Etsy business. You could do Instagram, you could do Pinterest. I know that wedding products and things that build a vision or a dream are really, really popular on Pinterest because that's what people do. Think of it almost like a little scrapbook. People are trying to pin the things that are going to complete an event or a room of a house or a birthday or whatever idea that they have. They're using Pinterest to illustrate that, and they might pin your product on their board for their wedding or their special birthday. That way, when that date comes around, they already have you on their list, and all they have to do is go buy from you. I don't know how this turned into a social media advice video. This was just supposed to be about ladders and Facebook and Etsy games, but I think that this is really valuable information. So guys, I hope that you enjoyed it. If you did, be sure to give this video a big thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you're new here. And if you're interested in having me coach you personally, my own Handmade Alpha Academy will be opening this Sunday. That is June 14th through June 23rd. We keep those enrollment windows very, very tight because I want to have the opportunity to work with all of my new students who come into the course and answer your questions. I am a six-figure seller. I have traveled to multiple events and I have traveled to a local college to speak about marketing. So I assure you, I am the real deal. Not to mention, I also am the head of marketing and PR at eRank. So if you have questions regarding Etsy SEO, I almost always have an answer for you. If Handmade Alpha Academy is something that you feel could help your business, there is a waiting list link down below. And opting into that does not obligate you to buy. However, it does ensure that you receive an email right when the doors open on Sunday. Plus, it's going to get you a $1,000 discount on your enrollment price for being a community member, and you're going to receive 12 months of eRank Pro, which would normally cost you $120. Now, I pay for that out of pocket, not because I want to push eRank on anybody, but because it is my absolute favorite Etsy SEO tool, and I have been using it for far longer than I've actually worked for eRank. So, guys, I hope that you enjoyed this. I hope that it's helped you. I hope that none of you are playing these light games, but if you are, don't worry. Just stop doing it and try to discourage friends and others from doing it as well. Don't be mean to people, but educate them on how it could genuinely hurt their business, or link them to this video if you're really concerned about friends who you see using some of these strategies, because we don't want to see anybody mess up their Etsy shops. All right, guys, I hope that you enjoyed this video, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Bye-bye!